You know what? They warned us not to move here, but now I understand why. You know, they didn't say it because it's unsafe, but it's because they don't believe that this type of ease still exists on the African continent. They said this level of comfort is for America, Germany, France, but certainly not Africa. But they were so wrong. And now that we've lived it, I see exactly why so few people are able to see the truth about Mauritius, Africa, and Southern Africa, the region as a whole. This is the warning every single person gave us, like most of them being Black Americans or diaspora. They're like, oh no, it's a little expensive over there. You probably can't go over there. That's probably not a good idea. Meanwhile, when we were in Tanzania, one of our good friends, which was our landlord, she told us, I've actually been to Mauritius and I completely loved it. And you as an American, you're going to have an easy time. You're going to love it. An African woman, a Black African Tanzanian woman, told us within a month of leaving Tanzania for Mauritius that we would absolutely love it here. And I'm so glad that we believed her report instead of the report of those who are very negative and just have no idea what it's like to live in this paradise. Now, most people said, why don't you move to Ghana, South Africa, Portugal? You're moving to where? Mauritius? What? I don't even know where that is. Actually, somebody in our live video that we did about Ghana and their crisis that's happening right now with their water supply, somebody said, this is going to impact where you're at too because it's in West Africa. And I was just like, the geography, y'all, if y'all don't know where Mauritius is, okay? It's an island nation on the continent of Africa, but inside the Indian Ocean, okay? So like Zanzibar is an island on the continent of Africa, but it's in the ocean. This is also an island. It's not quite as big as Zanzibar or Madagascar, but it's a small island nonetheless on the continent tectonic plate of Africa, okay? And it's actually number one for doing business and governance on the continent of Africa before every single other country that you can find. And I think the sad thing is that most people cannot believe an African country has so much safety, stability, and functionality. But Mauritius has quietly become one of the most efficient, transparent, and forward-looking nations on the continent of Africa. And the world rarely talks about it, which is why it's such a blessing that you are listening to this video. I believe you're listening to it for a reason, so let's continue. This is literally a country that just feels too easy. We landed in Mauritius and the airport experience was smoother than anything that we had ever encountered in Africa, okay? And we were in East Africa for 3 to 4 years, have given birth to multiple children in Tanzania, have dealt with every government system that there is to deal with, every type of immigration, every type of everything. And so I'm telling you, this process compared to other countries on the continent, even America, it's much smoother, it's much easier, and it's less paperwork heavy than if you were going to go to Portugal or to the UK or to France. The process was so quick, no strange glares, no strange questions. They just looked at our passports, gave it back and said, enjoy your vacation in Mauritius, and we proceeded right through. Roads are clean, Wi-Fi doesn't drop. Public beaches are very well maintained, and the locals greet you with a bonjour, as if you've lived there your entire life. In fact, this is gonna be funny. We took our children yesterday to a park and they updated the park. It now has 6 stations. This is a free park, by the way, and this gymnastics area. And as we're going, our 2-year-old is literally saying bonjour to people. Our 2-year-old daughter is out here speaking French, speaking Creole, talking to people, saying bonjour. It was the funniest thing, okay? But all of this is when it really hit me. This peace is almost suspiciously peaceful. And this is what they warned us about, because once you taste this kind of ease, it's very hard to go back to anything you've experienced in America or Africa. And let's be real, I'm not just talking here. The statistics back it up. Again, Mauritius ranks, and as I'm saying this, get your phone, get your iPad, get your laptop, look up the stats. Mauritius ranks number 1 for governance, democracy, and ease of doing business in Africa. It's also ranked number 1 in the least corrupt African country index, which also has a list of some wonderful countries like Namibia, Rwanda, and Botswana. Foreigners can register a company literally within days. Digital nomads come here and there are cafes, there are co-working spaces, there are so many places to be, but it's really the quiet place that the digital nomads, expats, and investors of the world, because you will see people here from Dubai, from China, from South Africa, from Kenya, from Tanzania, from Congo, from Ghana, from Nigeria. Everybody just secretly knows about this place. And us as Americans, we were a little bit late, okay? But you don't have to be late anymore. Digital entrepreneurs, retirees, and families are flooding in quietly, often after failed experiences elsewhere. And so if you're anywhere else in the world, I know we've been talking to clients that have residence in Panama and the Philippines, and they're like, you know what, but I just want to be in Africa. And I'm more so interested in Mauritius. They don't necessarily want to be in South Africa. They feel like it's America number 2. They don't necessarily want to be in Ghana. It's like, you know, they're kind of tired of seeing that. They want to be in a different African country. Look, while these other countries battle fuel shortages, unreliable internet, and visa delays, Mauritius has built an ecosystem that simply works, okay? This is the hidden reason people doubt it though. When people hear Africa, unfortunately, they think struggle. It's a narrative that's been reinforced by Western media. The idea that Africa is only the land of potential, but never true peace. So when you tell people about a nation with low corruption, functional governmental services, digital banking, cultural harmony between Hindus, Muslims, and Christians and beyond, they cannot even fathom and compute that in their brain. They think it's an exception. They think it's like something out of a fairy tale story. But let me tell you, Mauritius is not the exception. It's the literal blueprint that the rest of the continent has to follow. This is the moment it all sank in though. I remember sitting in the cafe in Grand Bay one morning. The Wi-Fi was super strong. I ordered my favorite flat white. A local family sat beside us laughing in Creole. Behind me, a British couple was finalizing a property deal on their laptop, and it was simple. It was calm. It was everything people said Africa could not be. That's when I finally understood why people warned us not to move here. Not because they wanted us to fail or had bad intentions, but because they had never even remotely heard of this version of Africa. But it's beyond the beaches. It's not just about the beach life, although we love the beaches. We love going boating. We have videos of that on members only. You should definitely subscribe if you want to see what Mauritius is actually like, because when we do our family vlogs to the zoo, the zoo is my absolute favorite. It's like a safari, but all of that is behind the wall of members only, and so you do want to subscribe. But again, it's about more than the beach life and sipping your favorite drink and having your cafes and all of those things. It's about good governance, transparency laws, stable elections, low tolerance for corruption, an open economy. Foreign investors can repatriate their profits, and there's no capital gains tax. They can open businesses without having a 50% local on the business. It can be a global international business. Education and multilingualism is a thing. Most locals speak English, French, and Creole, okay? A real bridge between Africa, Europe, and Asia. Oh, and safety, we never even have to think about that anymore. Our children can literally walk down the street to the park that is literally 15 minutes away. Like, they're going a little ways down the street to go to the park and have fun, and nobody just bothers them. Nobody's doing anything weird. They're just friendly and open to children. There are parks all over the place. Oh, and number 5, which is global connectivity, weekly direct flights to Dubai, Paris, and Johannesburg, South Africa, even India, which, listen, you may feel like you're isolated on this island, but you are not disconnected. But for me, the most challenging thing about living here in Mauritius, Africa, which is a small island in the Indian Ocean with a plethora of different people, is that people just don't believe me when I tell them about it. They think it's not real. They think it's too difficult. They think that it's something of a dream of my imagination. convincing Africans, Americans, and Europeans alike that there's a corner of the world where life is balanced, affordable, and genuinely peaceful, people still assume developed Africa is some type of oxymoron, some type of trending quote that you'll see on Instagram about developing Africa. Listen, that mindset is the real issue most expats will never even cross. You've already decided, or at least some of you, maybe not you, but other people have already decided in their brain, nowhere like Mauritius, Africa exists. Nowhere like Cape Verde in West Africa exists. It's difficult to get visas. It's difficult to get residencies. I need to have a network of 50 million local Africans before I go. I need $90,000 in the bank to even invest in Africa. It's going to be so hard to retire. I have to retire at 65, but here in Mauritius, they allow you to retire at 50. These are all lies and just doubt circuits that we create in our mind, and our brain gets so used to them, and we believe these falsehoods that simply are not true about Mauritius. So why do so few people talk about it? Well, stability doesn't trend. Negativity does. People love videos about war, inflation, corruption, all of these crazy things. And yet, quiet countries like Mauritius are the ones shaping the new era of global mobility, sustainability, and freedom for those willing to look beyond stereotypes. But here's my final reflection for you. When they warned us not to move here, they thought we'd regret it within a couple of months, within 1 year. But oh boy, were they wrong. 2 years in, they just don't know that Mauritius is everything that we hoped for and more. We couldn't even fathom that all of this existed here. And some of you diaspora and expats who have already moved here, you can chime in the comments down below and let people know what it's like, because it's wild how simple and easy it is to just be a human here, which is something that's so weird to say now because the world is absolutely crazy. But remember, just how the Most High Yah had Goshen in Egypt, there are pockets of Goshen that will always be in the world. And you just have to have the faith and the due diligence and the obedience to find them. You know, once you see that Africa can work for the long term, I've been on the continent 5 going on 6 years again, have given birth to 2 children on the continent, okay, have been all over East Africa and now the islands of Africa. You can't unsee the fact that you can have dignity, peace, stability, and better opportunities. And now that I've lived it, I literally understand why so many people doubt it. So many people just don't even make the move. They count themselves out before they even get a chance to board that plane. Not because they can't, but because they've been taught not to believe. Shalom, shalom. I'll see you in the next one.